This is the 2019 Subaru Forester, and it's a car that Subaru need to get right, mainly because it's predicted to maintain its title as its bestseller. Headlines include a revised engine and gearbox, more interior space, new interior and exterior styling, better driver assistance systems, and better drivability thanks to the adoption of Subaru's global platform that underpins the Impreza and the XV Crosstrek. Is it any good? Let's find out. Now, when manufacturers update their volume sellers, they tend to play it quite safe, and that's the same for the new Forester. It maintains its upright and boxy shape, which ends up paying dividends inside, as you'll see later. In terms of the styling itself, it does have a greater road presence due to the fact that overall it looks more muscular. But I find at certain angles the proportions can look a little bit out of whack. Personally, I find that the wheels look a bit too small for its body. Engine choice, there's one. It's a 2.5 litre naturally aspirated boxer engine that produces 136 kilowatts of power and 239 newton meters of torque. Subaru also say the engine is 90% new. That delivers power through a one-choice CVT transmission and to all four wheels with symmetrical all-wheel drive. So, let's take a look inside. By far, the most impressive thing when you get inside is just the feeling of space. Forester owners of the previous generations love these big side windows, and thankfully Subaru have kept them. And that combination of big side windows, a low belt line, huge rear quarter lights, and slim pillars all round make visibility fantastic. And they've done some cool design features, for instance, sculpting the bonnet in a way that the driver can see the extremities of the front of the car. You can also very clearly see where the tailgate ends, so maneuvering in tight spaces is a breeze. In front of me is the same 3-spoke steering wheel taken from the XV and the Impreza, and that's no bad thing. It's a very nice shape and it's great to hold. The sheer amount of buttons on the wheel can be a bit daunting at first, but at least it's laid out in a logical fashion. Media on the left with Bluetooth calling. On the bottom left are the switches for the multi-information display. And on the right, adaptive cruise control. On the driver's door card, 4 power window switches, of course, with the front 2 being automatic. Power folding mirrors, and they also fold and unfold when the vehicle locks. And tall drivers can rejoice in the fact that the seats go back so far that it even makes me look like a little child. So if you're 6'4" or 6'5", you'll be fine. The Forester also comes equipped with a segment-first driver eye tracking technology, which I can't for the life of me work out how it works because I can't find the sensor or any sensor which would possibly monitor my eyes. So I'll get back to you on that one. Found it. It's this black bar here. So that contains the sensors that scans your face and detects your eyes and ensures that you're looking at the road. So if you look away or you're distracted, it will beep to remind you to pay attention. At the top, there's a smaller helper screen, and currently it's displaying all the safety systems for the vehicle, but you can toggle between different settings, such as the off-road screen. Also, there's one which shows you the position of the accelerator, which is pretty cool. GPS, media, and the trip computer. Below is our 8-inch infotainment system, which contains the latest version of Subaru's Starlink software, so there's updated, nicer graphics, and the response times are better as well. Inbuilt satellite navigation comes with our premium model and above. And it's nice to see, finally in a Subaru, digital radio. There are also large controls for the volume and tuning, and same goes for the climate control. So simple, clear, concise dials. Very nice. Underneath, there's 2 USB 2.1 amp fast charging ports, an auxiliary jack, and a 12-volt power port. But keep in mind, this little storage cubby only barely fits my iPhone 8, so any Plus devices or your Galaxy Notes, you'll probably have to sit them in the cup holder and run a wire through. Shifter is very simple, straight line, park all the way to drive, and there is also a manual mode, and you can control with these paddle shifters. But please be reminded, this is a CVT, so you will not be changing physical gears. The X mode system has also been redesigned. Now it's a toggle switch, so you can turn off traction control, engage with a push, and turn back to normal. Electric parking brake and vehicle holding. The surround view button also displays 2 views, a front camera and a front left camera, great for parking to make sure you don't curb these alloys. The rear view camera is also very clear and features trajectory and obstacle detection, as you'll see in a second. So it picks up anything that I could hit and displays it in a color relative to how far I am. And if I keep going back, Reverse automatic braking will stop the car on my behalf. The two cup holders are a decent size and they have these adaptive fingers on them for smaller cups. Small storage shelf, coin storage, and you can lift up the tray and it reveals a decently deep center console with an additional 12-volt power outlet. Happily, these sun visors have extensions on them so they can cover the full width of the window. You know how much I like those. And at the top, a sunglasses holder. Right, show test time. You know how this works. Big, thick water bottle. Let's see if it fits anywhere inside the car. So let's start with the driver door bins. Yes. Center cup holders. No. You can take the center divider out and will kind of lay there, but I'm not giving that one. Driver center console. No. How about the glove box? Yes, so 2 out of 4, 50%, scrapes by with a pass. The spacious feeling continues in the rear seats. I have this seat set back all the way in its tracks. It's even too much for me, my 6'3" or 190 centimeter frame. And I can still fit behind this person. I've got enough knee room, plenty of foot room, and plenty of headroom. The materials, the soft touch materials, continue through to the back as well. Same with this leather stitching. There are bottle holders in the doors, rear air vents, and 2 fast charging 2.1 amp USB sockets. There's also a center armrest with 2 additional cup holders. The 2 outboard seats have ISOFIX tethering, and the seats can recline quite far back actually, perfect for a longer road trip. The seats themselves are quite comfortable. They've got good support, although tall passengers like me may find under-thigh support a little bit lacking. The center seat is actually usable, and I'm going to demonstrate that now, mainly because it's not too high in comparison to the outboard seats, and it's not too hard as well. And I've still got enough headroom, although my feet will have to go on either side thanks to this hump. There are 2 level map pockets on each seat. There's the standard one and also a smaller divided one, great for storing your phone. Around the back, on models equipped with the electric tailgate, it now features proper electric struts, so it lifts much faster, unlike the previous generation which had the little motor with the arm that took forever to open. And once it is, there's 498 litres of space, up 78 litres from the previous generation. And the opening has been widened to 1.3 meters at its widest point. So Subaru claim that you can now fit a set of golf clubs sideways. And that's due to the fact that the tail lights have been repositioned onto the tailgate itself. And inside, there's 4 shopping bag hooks, a 12-volt power outlet. All Subarus come with a full-size spare tire for our market. And you also notice, unlike the previous generation, there's no hump. Now it's completely flat. There's also no loading lip, so getting heavy or bulky items in and out shouldn't be an issue. The 2 switches on the side also fold down the rear seats, and when they're down, they're pretty much completely flat. As with all these electric tailgates, we try to test them to ensure that they have safety sensors built right in. So let's try the Forester. Good. So it doesn't take too much force to sense it, and it rises all the way back up. However, the Forester isn't perfect. Here's a few things. Our second from the top of the range model still doesn't have auto-dimming rear view mirrors. And the toggle for some of the systems in the car are dotted all around the cabin. For instance, driver attention monitoring and blind spot assist is by the driver's knee. Collision mitigation and lane departure warning is up on top of the driver's head near the eyesight system. Tire pressure monitoring is a button all the way in the glove box. And if you want to switch for reverse automatic braking, you have to go into the multimedia system and toggle through it in there. It'd be nice if it was all consolidated into one area. The 2-litre XT Turbo has been dropped globally, and in terms of a business sense, it's not hard to see why, with the XT making up less than 10% of sales in Australia alone, but it's still sad to see it go nonetheless. On the road, firstly you notice how much better you feel integrated into the vehicle compared to the previous generation, thanks to a higher and more wraparound dashboard. You feel like you sit in the car, not on it like you did previously. I also want to say how nice it is to drive a vehicle that you can clearly see out of. As I pointed out before, there are almost no blind spots, and it really pays dividends when you're on the move. Steering is weighted well, it's not too heavy and it's not too light. Essentially, it behaves exactly how you would expect it to. There's also another big plus. It rides beautifully. Last night, the weather was disgusting. It was storming, it was raining. I had 4 people on board, and not once did the Forester feel unsettled or unhappy. It simply glided over any sort of weather condition, and the suspension is sorted as well. It is on the firm side, but it feels so stable, and it rides better than many vehicles from a higher price bracket. As usual with a Subaru, symmetrical all-wheel drive sends power to all 4 wheels all of the time, giving you confidence on the road, but take note that it will use more fuel compared to a conventional on-demand system as seen in its competitors. What's not so great is this gearbox, and it's not the fact that it's a CVT, because I've driven the updated Outback and that had a fantastic CVT. It was quiet and it was smooth. This, on the other hand, isn't. It was surprisingly loud even under moderate acceleration, and if you're off and on with the throttle, because it's trying to simulate those 7 shifts, it could be a little bit jerkier than expected. So there's definitely room for improvement. Also, this thing is not fast. With peak power being made at 5800 RPM, you'll need to push it to get a proper move on. The naturally aspirated 2.5 litre is the exact definition of adequate. It's more than capable of keeping up around town and on highway driving, but don't plan on challenging many people for a drag race at the lights. And overtaking with 4 passengers and their cargo will take some advanced planning. It's fantastic to see their eyesight suite of safety systems standard across the range. 2 stereo cameras scan the road and provide features such as adaptive cruise control, active lane departure warning, autonomous emergency braking, and much more. I would argue that Subaru have one of the best active safety systems in the market. It seems to work reliably in almost any condition. Overall, the new Forester is a major leap forward for the nameplate in the regions of interior, equipment, and driving dynamics. They've kept what previous owners loved and made it better, and I expect it to keep its place as their best seller. If you've enjoyed the vehicle, give us a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed to keep up with the latest reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. As with all these electric tailgates, we always try to test them to ensure that they have sensors. So if you accidentally open it